Hi, my name is Eric Fusselman, and today I'll be responding to Marina Dimitri's point that child beauty pageants are extremely harmful to young women. As a reminder, her secondary claims that she used to support this point were beauty pageants cause eating disorders, second, that they cause body image problems, and third, that they cause low self-esteem and emotional issues. A lot of these points ended up being misrepresented in the evidence, as well as a few points were more relevant to just teens in general. So on the first point, that beauty pageants cause eating disorders, there was a quote that over 1/4 of women had been told or perceived that they had an eating disorder, which reportedly began at 16.25 years of age. Almost half reported wanting to be thinner, and 57% were trying to lose weight. This point is actually misrepresented, as it was the abstract to a research in which the next line said that future study is warranted to determine how pageant participation influences self-esteem, body image, and the development of eating disorders. Also, the statistic was way too small. It was 130 women that were surveyed, and 90% of them were past pageant winners. This number is supposed to be representative of 250,000 women who compete every year in the children beauty pageants, and that makes up less than 1,000th of a percentile. Another point that was made was that Kirsten Hoagland, Miss America of 2008, had eating disorders that developed from having been in the pageants, but this point is irrelevant to the claim, seeing as this is about child beauty pageants, and there's nothing to do with adult beauty pageants, which Kirsten was part of. On to the second point, that beauty pageants cause body image problems in the future. It was claimed that teenagers say that they do not know what the ideal body is, and that they actually feel that they are uncomfortable with their bodies or unhappy with their bodies due to the pageants. These points, the first point, that ideal body, they don't know what the ideal body is. Nobody knows what the ideal body is, and I'm sure that if anyone here and I were to compare notes, that our versions of an ideal body would be very different. Secondly, I'm sure many of you go to the gym, wear makeup, do something to make yourself look a bit different, and that would be in line with being unhappy with your bodies. Therefore, I don't think it's right to say that it's the beauty pageants that cause these issues. To back these points up, a point was used from a 2007 study by Martina Cartwright, but upon further look, the data was not backed up, and there was nothing but a simple claim. Furthermore, her qualifications should be questioned on speaking on this matter, since she's a doctor of nutritional studies. And in this case, it would be a psychological matter of whether or not the children are affected and have body problems later on. On the third claim, that beauty pageants cause low self-esteem and emotional issues, while I can't deny or confirm that this happens on an adult level, I can confirm that there is a good chance that all of these children probably try and do this as a dress-up competition, and many of them do not see it as an actual competition that judges them for who they are. Now, this point was countered off of Brooke Breedwell's interview, but what she said was, as an exception, she was the winner of the pageant and multiple returning pageants, and so her point is based upon the idea that basically that of an athlete who keeps on returning to go over and over again to see if they are the best still. She also says in the same interview of ABC to say that she quit at the age of 7. And what's important about this is that she actually quit of her own free will. This suggests that she also participated of her own free will, and that she was not forced to, but did it because she wanted to. In conclusion, I would offer instead that the suggestion that it's not pageants, but just many different factors in society that cause this issue, and that although there is not much data, we can infer that there is a problem. But I think it's just purely speculation to say that it's child beauty pageants that cause this issue.
All right, the structural stuff is all laid out pretty clearly. It's easy to follow. On the first point, you do have a general kind of philosophical approach that you set up at the beginning also that suggests that you're going to debunk the relationship between the evidence that the advocate presents and the claims that they are presenting as if they are different things, that the data doesn't match up with the claims. And I think you do that in a couple of places. On the first point about the disorders, you have some good parsing that you're doing of the evidence that's being presented because of the dates at which things are being applied, the follow-up quote in the research. I'm not exactly sure that that means that the research was not something that people should be reading, but it did suggest that it needs to be put into a context, and I thought that that was a good way of illustrating that particular point. The claim that the small size of the sample is problematic, you've made the argument there, although if it's appropriately selected, it might very well be representative. It would be helpful to have a little bit more context on that, but it's a reasonable press to be making. And then the challenge to the Miss America example that you have basically suggests that it was an adult issue and doesn't necessarily demonstrate application to children. I thought that that's also a good press on that evidence. So 2/3 of your argument is just the kind of press that you could give on an argument immediately afterwards if you're paying attention and you're sharp on those things, and I thought you did a good job on that. The one thing that seemed like it actually did follow up was looking at the research and finding that there's a caveat and kind of a reservation on that point. On the body image issue, I don't know that this ideal body concept helps the advocate or helps your position. You come back with, well, if you go to the gym or use makeup, everybody's unhappy with their body. You must know that old joke then, Why do women wear makeup and perfume? Because they're ugly and they smell bad? Oh, that's mean. But I mean, that's kind of the inference that you're making. You must be unhappy with the way you look because you feel like you have to get into shape or that you have to put on makeup. And so by that criteria, this is a universal problem. Oh, okay, I can see that. I think that's an awfully big inference to make. The criticism of the nutritionist, I don't know that that gets you very much. I would imagine, depending upon the kind of research that the nutritionist did, that might be very valid. It might have been more helpful to talk about what she said. It did seem like you did say that there was no data in the study, that it's just a conclusion from the expert. I thought that's a stronger argument. And then the last point, suggesting that the kids don't really see it in the way that the advocate says that they see it. Again, some good presses. I think you explain all of your reasoning pretty clearly. That's fine. I do think that you probably could have used a little bit more affirmative data to present a counterclaim here or there, but good analysis there. Thank you.